Ezekiel chapters 45 through 48 of the Holy Bible American Standard Version. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 45. Moreover, when ye shall divide by lot the land for inheritance, ye shall offer an oblation unto Jehovah, a holy portion of the land. The length shall be the length of 25,000 reeds, and the breadth shall be 10,000. It shall be holy in all the border thereof round about. Of this there shall be for the holy place 500 in length, by 500 in breadth, square round about, and 50 cubits for the suburbs thereof round about. And of this measure shalt thou measure a length of 25,000, and a breadth of 10,000. And in it shall be the sanctuary, which is most holy. It is a holy portion of the land. It shall be for the priests, the ministers of the sanctuary, that come near to minister unto Jehovah. And it shall be a place for their houses, and a holy place for the sanctuary. And 25,000 in length, and 10,000 in breadth, shall be unto the Levites, the ministers of the house, for a possession unto themselves, for 20 chambers. And ye shall appoint the possession of the city 5,000 broad, and 25,000 long, side by side with the oblation of the holy portion. It shall be for the whole house of Israel. And whatsoever is for the prince shall be on the one side, and on the other side of the holy oblation, and of the possession of the city, in front of the holy oblation, and in front of the possession of the city, on the west side westward, and on the east side eastward, and in length answerable unto one of the portions, from the west border unto the east border. In the land it shall be to him for a possession in Israel. And my princes shall no more oppress my people, but they shall give the land to the house of Israel, according to their tribes. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, Let it suffice you, O princes of Israel. Remove violence and spoil, and execute justice and righteousness. Take away your exactions from my people, saith the Lord Jehovah. Ye shall have just balances, and a just ephah, and a just bath. The ephah and the bath shall be of one measure, that the bath may contain the 10th part of a homer, and the ephah the 10th part of a homer. The measure thereof shall be after the homer, and the shekel shall be 20 gerahs. 20 shekels, 25 shekels, 15 shekels shall be your manna. This is the oblation that ye shall offer, the 6th part of an ephah from a homer of wheat, and ye shall give the 6th part of an ephah from a homer of barley, and the set portion of oil of the bath of oil, the 10th part of a bath out of the core, which is 10 baths, even a homer, for 10 baths are a homer, and 1 lamb of the flock out of 200 from the well-watered pastures of Israel, for a meal offering, and for a burnt offering, and for peace offerings, to make atonement for them, saith the Lord Jehovah. All the people of the land shall give unto this oblation for the prince in Israel. And it shall be the prince's part to give the burnt offerings, and the meal offerings, and the drink offerings in the feasts, and on the new moons, and on the Sabbaths, in all the appointed feasts of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering, and the meal offering, and the burnt offering, and the peace offerings, to make atonement for the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, In the 1st month, in the 1st day of the month, thou shalt take a young bullock without blemish, and thou shalt cleanse the sanctuary. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering, and put it upon the doorposts of the house, and upon the four corners of the ledge of the altar, and upon the posts of the gate of the inner court. And so thou shalt do on the 7th day of the month for every one that erreth, and for him that is simple, so shall ye make atonement for the house. In the 1st month, in the 14th day of the month, ye shall have the Passover, a feast of 7 days. Unleavened bread shall be eaten, and upon that day shall the prince prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bullock for a sin offering. And the 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to Jehovah, 7 bullocks and 7 rams without blemish daily the 7 days, and a he-goat daily for a sin offering. And he shall prepare a meal offering, an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram, and a hin of oil to an ephah. In the 7th month, in the 15th day of the month, in the feast, shall he do the like the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, and according to the meal offering, and according to the oil. End of chapter 45. Chapter 46. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, The gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath day it shall be opened, and on the day of the new moon it shall be opened. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of the gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate. And the priests shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. And the people of the land shall worship at the door of that gate before Jehovah on the Sabbaths and on the new moons. And the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto Jehovah shall be on the Sabbath day 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish. And the meal offering shall be an ephah for the ram, and the meal offering for the lambs, as he is able to give, and a hin of oil to an ephah. And on the day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs, and a ram, they shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meal offering, an ephah for the bullock, and an ephah for the ram, and for the lambs according as he is able, and a hin of oil to an ephah. And when the prince shall enter, he shall go in by the way of the porch of the gate, and he shall go forth by the way thereof. But when the people of the land shall come before Jehovah in the appointed feasts, he that entereth by the way of the north gate to worship shall go forth by the way of the south gate, and he that entereth by the way of the south gate shall go forth by the way of the north gate. He shall not return by the way of the gate whereby he came in, but shall go forth straight before him. And the prince, when they go in, shall go in the midst of them, and when they go forth, they shall go forth together. And in the feasts and in the solemnities, the meal offering shall be an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram, and for the lambs as he is able to give, and a hin of oil to an ephah. And when the prince shall prepare a freewill offering, a burnt offering or peace offerings as a freewill offering unto Jehovah, one shall open for him the gate that looketh toward the east. And he shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings, as he doth on the Sabbath day. Then he shall go forth, and after his going forth one shall shut the gate. And thou shalt prepare a lamb a year old without blemish for a burnt offering unto Jehovah daily. Morning by morning shalt thou prepare it. And thou shalt prepare a meal offering with it morning by morning, the 6th part of an ephah, and the 3rd part of a hin of oil to moisten the fine flour, a meal offering unto Jehovah continually by a perpetual ordinance. Thus shall they prepare the lamb, and the meal offering, and the oil, morning by morning, for a continual burnt offering. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, If the prince give a gift unto any of his sons, it is his inheritance. It shall belong to his sons. It is their possession by inheritance. But if he give of his inheritance a gift to one of his servants, it shall be his to the year of liberty. Then it shall return to the prince. But as for his inheritance, it shall be for his sons. Moreover, the prince shall not take of the people's inheritance, to thrust them out of their possession. He shall give inheritance to his sons out of his own possession, that my people be not scattered every man from his possession. Then he brought me through the entry, which was at the side of the gate, into the holy chambers for the priests, which looked toward the north. And behold, there was a place on the hinder part westward. And he said unto me, This is the place where the priests shall boil the trespass offering and the sin offering, and where they shall bake the meal offering, that they bring them not forth into the outer court to sanctify the people. Then he brought me forth into the outer court, and caused me to pass by the four corners of the court. And behold, in every corner of the court there was a court. In the four corners of the court there were courts enclosed, 40 cubits long, and 30 broad. These four in the corners were of one measure. And there was a wall round about in them, round about the four, and boiling places were made under the walls round about. Then said he unto me, These are the boiling houses, where the ministers of the house shall boil the sacrifice of the people. End of chapter 46. Chapter 47. And he brought me back unto the door of the house, and behold, waters issued out from under the threshold of the house eastward, for the forefront of the house was toward the east. And the waters came down from under, from the right side of the house, on the south of the altar. Then he brought me out by the way of the gate northward, and led me round by the way without unto the outer gate, by the way of the gate that looketh toward the east. And behold, there ran out waters on the right side. When the man went forth eastward with the line in his hand, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he caused me to pass through the waters, waters that were to the ankles. Again he measured 1,000, and caused me to pass through the waters, waters that were to the knees. Again he measured 1,000, and caused me to pass through the waters, waters that were to the loins. Afterward he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass through, for the waters were risen, waters to swim in, a river that could not be passed through. And he said unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen this? Then he brought me, and caused me to return to the bank of the river. Now when I had returned, behold, upon the bank of the river were very many trees on the one side and on the other. Then said he unto me, These waters issue forth toward the eastern region, and shall go down into the Arabah, and they shall go toward the sea. Into the sea shall the waters go which were made to issue forth, and the waters shall be healed. And it shall come to pass, that every living creature which swarmeth in every place whither the rivers come shall live, and there shall be a very great multitude of fish, for these waters are come thither. And the waters of the sea shall be healed, and everything shall live whithersoever the river cometh. And it shall come to pass, that fishers shall stand by it. From En-gedi even unto En-eglaim shall be a place for the spreading of nets. Their fish shall be after their kinds, as the fish of the great sea, exceeding many. But the miry places thereof, and the marshes thereof, shall not be healed, they shall be given up to salt. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow every tree for food, whose leaf shall not wither, neither shall the fruit thereof fail. It shall bring forth new fruit every month, because the waters thereof issue out of the sanctuary. And the fruit thereof shall be for food, and the leaf thereof for healing. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, This shall be the border, whereby ye shall divide the land for inheritance according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions, and ye shall inherit it, one as well as another. For I swear to give it unto your fathers, and this land shall fall unto you for inheritance. And this shall be the border of the land. On the north side, from the great sea by the way of Hethlon, unto the entrance of Zedad, Hamath, Berotha, Sibraim, which is between the border of Damascus and the border of Hamath, Hazer Hetakon, which is by the border of Hauran. And the border from the sea shall be Hazer Enon at the border of Damascus, and on the northward is the border of Hamath. This is the north side. And the east side between Hauran and Damascus and Gilead and the land of Israel shall be the Jordan. From the north border unto the east sea shall ye measure. This is the east side. And the south side southward shall be from Tamar as far as the waters of Merabath Kadesh, to the brook of Egypt unto the great sea. This is the south side southward. And the west side shall be the great sea, from the south border as far as over against the entrance of Hamath. This is the west side. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and to the strangers that sojourn among you, who shall beget children among you. And they shall be unto you as the homeborn among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass, that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord Jehovah. End of chapter 47. Chapter 48. Now these are the names of the tribes. From the north end, beside the way of Hethlon to the entrance of Hamath, Hazer Enan at the border of Damascus, northward beside Hamath, and they shall have their sides east and west, Dan 1 portion. And by the border of Dan from the east side unto the west side, Asher 1 portion. And by the border of Asher from the east side even unto the west side, Naphtali 1 portion. And by the border of Naphtali from the east side unto the west side, Manasseh 1 portion. And by the border of Manasseh from the east side unto the west side, Ephraim 1 portion. And by the border of Ephraim from the east side even unto the west side, Reuben 1 portion. And by the border of Reuben from the east side unto the west side, Judah 1 portion. And by the border of Judah from the east side unto the west side shall be the oblation which ye shall offer, 25,000 reeds in breadth, and in length as one of the portions from the east side unto the west side. And the sanctuary shall be in the midst of it. The oblation that ye shall offer unto Jehovah shall be 25,000 reeds in length, and 10,000 in breadth. And for these, even for the priests, shall be the holy oblation, toward the north 25,000 in length, and toward the west 10,000 in breadth, and toward the east 10,000 in breadth, and toward the south 25,000 in length, and the sanctuary of Jehovah shall be in the midst thereof. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, that have kept my charge, that went not astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. And it shall be unto them an oblation from the oblation of the land, a thing most holy, by the border of the Levites. And answerable unto the border of the priests, the Levites shall have 25,000 in length, and 10,000 in breadth. All the length shall be 25,000, and the breadth 10,000. And they shall sell none of it, nor exchange it, nor shall the first fruits of the land be alienated, for it is holy unto Jehovah. And the 5,000 that are left in the breadth in front of the 25,000 shall be for common use, for the city, for dwelling, and for suburbs, and the city shall be in the midst thereof. And these shall be the measures thereof: the north side 4,500, and the south side 4,500, and on the east side 4,500, and the west side 4,500. And the city shall have suburbs, toward the north 250, and toward the south 250, and toward the east 250, and toward the west 250. And the residue in the length answerable unto the holy oblation shall be 10,000 eastward, and 10,000 westward, and it shall be answerable unto the holy oblation, and the increase thereof shall be for food unto them that labor in the city. And they that labor in the city out of all the tribes of Israel shall till it. All the oblation shall be 25,000 by 25,000. Ye shall offer the holy oblation foursquare, with the possession of the city. And the residue shall be for the prince, on the one side and on the other of the holy oblation, and of the possession of the city. In front of the 25,000 of the oblation toward the east border, and westward in front of the 25,000 toward the west border, answerable unto the portions, it shall be for the prince. And the holy oblation and the sanctuary of the house shall be in the midst thereof. Moreover, from the possession of the Levites, and from the possession of the city, being in the midst of that which is the prince's, between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin, it shall be for the prince. And as for the rest of the tribes, from the east side unto the west side, Benjamin one portion, and by the border of Benjamin from the east side unto the west side, Simeon one portion, and by the border of Simeon from the east side unto the west side, Issachar one portion, and by the border of Issachar from the east side unto the west side, Zebulun one portion, and by the border of Zebulun from the east side unto the west side, Gad one portion, and by the border of Gad at the south side southward, the border shall be even from Tamar unto the waters of Merabath Kadesh, to the brook of Egypt, unto the great sea. This is the land which ye shall divide by lot unto the tribes of Israel for inheritance, and these are their several portions, saith the Lord Jehovah. And these are the egresses of the city. On the north side 4,500 reeds by measure, and the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, the gate of Reuben 1, the gate of Judah 1, the gate of Levi 1. And at the east side 4,500 reeds, and 3 gates, even the gate of Joseph 1, the gate of Benjamin 1, the gate of Dan 1. And at the south side 4,500 reeds by measure, and 3 gates, the gate of Simeon 1, the gate of Issachar 1, the gate of Zebulun 1. At the west side 4,500 reeds, with their 3 gates, the gate of Gad 1, the gate of Asher 1, the gate of Naphtali 1. It shall be 18,000 reeds round about, and the name of the city from that day shall be Jehovah is there. End of chapter 48.